Hi everyone, it's Jasmine. On today's episode of the Slame Project, we're going to be talking about 34-year-old Freda knows his gun. Now, in my script, I think I say she's 32, but she's actually 34. In October 2016, Freda was in Kennewick, Washington, and called her friend back in Montana to wire her some money to get home. Freda never picked up the money, and she was never seen or heard from again. Now, if you want to see more videos on missing and murdered Indigenous people, click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Now let's get right into it. Freda Jane knows his gun. Freda was 32 years old when she went missing on October 18, 2016. She is a Crow tribal member and mother to 2 boys and 1 girl. Their names are Lyrical, Trinity, and Mason. Freda loved her children very much, but struggled with her own demons. In the months leading up to her disappearance, she began seeing less of her family. Her children were left in the care of her mother, Barbara. In July 2016, she moved away from the reservation to Billings, Montana, and lived with friends. Her family says she fell in with a bad crowd and began using drugs. The type of drugs were never specified and does not really matter, but cocaine, meth, and heroin are popular amongst users on Indian reservations. Throw in alcohol and marijuana, and there is a whirlwind of substances floating about. And don't get me wrong, there are nice homes and families on the reservations. Not everybody is involved in drinking and drugging. But some of the younger people engage in these activities, and some never find their way out and get washed away in addiction's wave. On October 18, 2016, Freda called a close friend of hers and asked if she could wire her some money. Freda had promised her children that she would be home on Halloween to take them trick-or-treating. She told the friend she was in Kennewick, Washington at the local Walmart. The friend agreed to send the money and proceeded to do so. There was a mishap about the spelling of Freda's last name. I will explain this better a little further in the video. But the friend had to call the wire transfer company and change the spelling so Freda could pick up the money. This took about 15 minutes, and in the meantime, the store had closed. Freda's friend attempted to call her, but her phone was not working. Not sure if it was disconnected within that short period of time, or if the phone ran out of minutes. Her friend figured she would pick it up the next day. But when she called to see if it was picked up, it was not. This was the last time any friends or family heard from Freda. She seemed so determined to keep her promise to her kids, but something stopped her from doing so. She had traveled to Kennewick with someone, and it appears whoever it was not going back to Montana anytime soon. Or perhaps she overheard or saw something she wasn't supposed to and wanted to leave. There are 3 hotels in the vicinity of the Walmart. She possibly could have walked over to the store from there. In the media reports, it was never stated why Freda was in Kennewick or when she ended up there. I am not even sure if she told her friend anything of the sorts over the phone. Some sources also say that she possibly traveled there with a black man named Mike. Kennewick is part of the Tri-Cities in central Washington. The Tri-Cities are Kennewick, Richland, and Pasco. Kennewick is about 700 miles away from Billings and would be about a 12-hour drive. From here, access to Seattle and Portland is only a few hours away. Forced sex labor is very prevalent in these 2 cities. A little bit of time passed, Halloween came and went, and Freda never showed up. Freda's aunt passed away and she never showed up for the funeral. Her family immediately knew something was not right because Freda never would have missed the funeral. A missing person report was filed on November 14, 2016. Her mother first tried to file in Hardin, Montana, where she lived, but was told she had to go to the Crow agency on the reservation to file. They took the report there and began working with Bighorn County and the FBI. Freda's name is often misspelled. Her friend had this same problem when she tried wiring her some money at Walmart. When her mother, Barbara, first filed the report, she used Freda's birth name, Nose Gun. When the last name is translated from Crow to English, the word his is added in. A second report was filed on December 11th, 2016, with the last name Knows His Gun. This would ensure that Freda's data would show up if her name was ever ran through the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC. Not all police departments report info to NCIC, but a lot do. If she were arrested or encountered by law enforcement, her name would be ran and her missing person info would show up. And since she was last known to be in Washington State, a report would also eventually be filed there. There is no rule that says you cannot report a person to more than one agency. As a result of this, her name is now on the Washington State Patrol Missing Indigenous People list. She was added to it in March 2022. Even with Freda's name in the national database and reports held in Montana and Washington, she still never has been located. The possibilities of what could have happened to her are endless. But I personally do not believe she would abandon her children, family, and friends willingly. Her family says that police did not take her disappearance seriously in the early stages because she was known to use drugs. This happens all the time to people from all walks of life, and it can severely damage an investigation due to lost time. Freda's sister Frances and mom Brenda were approached by her roommate's mother and were told not to mention their name to the FBI. It is also said that this roommate has not been very helpful and does not answer questions presented. It is also known that this person moved to California soon after Freda's disappearance was discovered. One disturbing thing Frances shared in an interview is that the FBI had asked her if she knew what a hotshot was. She did not know what it was at the time. A hotshot is where the drugs are swapped with poison, like battery acid or antifreeze, and injected into a person with the sole purpose to kill them. Freda's family is taking her disappearance very hard. Her cousin Aldine Goodluck often speaks of Freda at MMIW events. Her mom desperately wishes for her return and believes she is still alive. Frances does not participate in MMIW events held on MMIW Day on May 5th every year. She also does not celebrate Freda's birthday. Freda's oldest son, Miracle, who is almost an adult, will call his Aunt Frances sometimes. She will go pick him up and drive around the reservation. He will ask questions about his mom. He likes to learn about Freda's relatives, her childhood, and school years. And Frances is happy to share everything she knows about her sister Freda with him. Someone out there knows what happened to Freda. Please have the courage to speak up about anything you may know. You can always leave an anonymous tip. Please refer to the poster on the screen for her physical descriptions and case contact information. There were unconfirmed sightings of Freda in Hardin and Billings around Christmas of 2016. She would be 40 years old at the time of this recording. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Let me know what you think happened to Freda down below, and I hope to see you in the next video.